When I started the project, I knew I wanted to create a physical interactive instrument, and through my research looking at different Arduino projects, I was drawn towards using lasers, purely because I'd never used them before and I thought it would be more interesting for me. Due to the high cost of a laser sensor, I had to buy just a normal laser, hook it up to the breadboard facing an LDR, and see if I could code it to work the way I wanted. As it created the response I wanted, I knew I would use a simple circuit and expand it to 6 lasers to create a laser harp. The coding was relatively easy, so I knew I would have to concentrate on the aesthetics of my instrument, so I started researching different artistic approaches and found that Marcel Duchamp's found art was the most appealing. The piece shown was the one that gave me the idea of using a wheel for the harp, so I went to my local scrapyard and looked for the right size wheel. This, however, wasn't enough, as I needed to mount my breadboard and Arduino, so I used the welly from the pair that I was wearing, searching for the wheel in the scrapyard, as I thought this would fit nicely. To start the construction, I had to strip down the wheel, spray it, and start drilling holes in the right size. The lasers would not be mounted on the wheel alone, as I tried this and they kept falling, so I shaped some plywood, as this material is strong and flexible, and stuck it on top of the wheel, and this seemed to work fine. Initially, to mount the LDRs, I used wood, but with so many failed attempts, I decided to go for model board, which is a stronger and more durable product. I cut it to size, filed it down the middle, and so it sat perfectly inside the wheel as a runner. When drilling the holes, I had the lasers facing down and turned on the runner, so I could pinpoint exactly where to drill them. I cut one hole slightly bigger than the other, so the LDR would sit perfectly in, and 2 smaller holes, so I could locate the positive one side and the negative the other, so they wouldn't cut short my circuit. These 2 holes were drilled into the wheel as well. After this was complete, I attached it to the welly by bolting it through the steel toe cap and using a cable tie at the top for extra support. The laser wires ran through another hole towards the top of the welly, where a separate breadboard was placed, and the LDRs ran through the bottom, where the other hole was. All the wires were hidden as there's plenty of room underneath the wheel to keep them out of sight. After completing this and setting up the Arduino, I could produce 6 different tones using a sine wave. This, however, was not the desired sound that I wanted, so I put it into Max using Maxarino and recorded actual harp sounds from a music shop in town and uploaded them. This is the harp I used. This worked nicely, but only if one laser was plucked at a time. If there was multiple lasers, the sound distorted, so I created a separate poly patch which enabled me to achieve the sound I wanted. I was happy with the end result, but I felt it didn't represent enough of me in the sound compared to the aesthetics, so I loaded up the last laser with a jungle drum and bass sample, and I found this would suffice. This is what my end product sounded like.